In 2019, in a small town in Germany, a man hanged himself. He left a suicide note. It said that he had to open it after 10:13 p.m. on November 4th. Then the picture changed. His son, Xiao Qiao, woke up from his bed. It's been 2 months, but he's still very sad. Xiao Qiao hasn't gone to school for 2 months. Today is the first day he goes back to school. He hasn't gone to school for a while. First, he doesn't want to study. Second, he's afraid that his classmates will mention his father again. As soon as he arrived at school, the teacher called all his classmates to the meeting hall. It turned out that a child was missing in the town. He has been missing for half a month, but he has never heard from him. The headmaster told everyone at the meeting that if anyone found any trace of him, he must inform the school immediately. After the meeting, a group of Xiao Qiao said in the class that the missing guy hid a lot of prohibited goods. When they arrived at school, they were still talking about this, but they were heard by others. These two people are the headmaster's daughters, Ma Xiaoxi and her son, Ma Dashuai. They said that the listener should go with them. On the other side of the town, Dashuai's father, Lao Ma, was talking to his mother about this. His mother said that the missing child was just like your brother. He may never come back. Something is going to happen again. This is a reincarnation. It turned out that 33 years ago, Lao Ma's brother was also missing. He hasn't been found yet. Lao Ma is a police officer in the town. He is also in charge of this case. Obviously, he didn't listen to his mother at all, because after losing his brother, his mother has been abnormal, always talking nonsense. At this time, a crazy old man in the nursing home in the town was talking nonsense. Finally, at night, a group of people came to the agreed place. They took the flashlight and went to the cave. Ma Dashuai also took his brother with him. He said he would take him to open his eyes. At this time, it was 10 o'clock on the night of November 4th. Xiao Qiao's father's letter was also kept by his grandmother. Xiao Qiao's grandmother was staring at the watch on the wall. She can't wait to know what her child wrote in the letter. What is the secret? After a while, at 10:30, Xiao Qiao's grandmother took a knife and cut open Chen Feng's letter. She read the words written by her son on the letter, but the content of the letter shocked her. At the same time, Xiao Qiao and others in the cave heard strange sounds coming out of the cave. The sound was very scary. At this time, the flashlight in his hand was also flashing. It scared everyone. They pulled their legs and ran out of the forest. He turned around. That was his father. I don't know if this is an overshock illusion or something that really happened. He couldn't care so much. He got up and kept running out. At this moment, his grandmother put the letter back in the box. She cried on top of it. In the meantime, everyone finally ran out of the forest. But at this moment, they finally realized that the general's brother was missing. The general cried and went back to the factory. Then everyone's parents got the call. The police also arrived at the scene. The old man who kept repeating a sentence also said in his mouth, "It's over. Everything is over. Everything has happened." Kair's father, Lao Ma, is also a police officer in town. At this moment, he was crying and looking in the forest. He knew that his child might never be found again, because 33 years ago, his brother was missing in this forest. All the police in town were on the move. They started a search on the carpet. They were afraid that they missed a little bit of clues, and Kair's father on the other side still heard in the walkie-talkie what he didn't want to hear the most. The search team found a child's body. Lao Ma, who collapsed, went deep into the forest to look for it. At the moment he saw the body, he finally couldn't move, but just as he was peeling off the mud on the child's body, he found that the person in front of him was not Kair, and his eyes were burned. All the clothes on the body were from the 1980s. What's more strange is that the forensic team judged that this was just dead, but the traces on the body seemed to have been buried for a long time. On the other side of the town, Xiao Qiao woke up in a dream. He dreamed of his father again. When he woke up, he couldn't tell whether the experience last night was his own illusion or something that really happened. Xiao Qiao, who recovered, came to the upstairs where his father often stayed when he was alive. He was lying on the floor, as if he was feeling his father's breath. He looked at the whole house. He posted a lot of strange words on the wall, and there was a small wooden board on the ceiling, but there was no crack. It was like a hidden box. He walked over and pushed the wooden board open. He found a pile of paper in it. It looked like a map when he opened it. Take a closer look. It's more like a map of that cave. What's the secret in this cave? His father didn't want to tell him even after he died. On the other side, there was a figure in the cave deep in the forest. He slowly walked out of it. This is Kyle, who went missing last night, but he didn't know that he had returned to 1986. It turned out that this cave was a passage connecting the past and the future. The nuclear power station here caused a wormhole inside after a serious accident. But this cave is too complicated. Ordinary people can't find the exit when they go in. And Kyle, who was in a hurry, ran to his house after he came out. But he met a man at the door, and that man was his father when he was young. Obviously, Kyle didn't know him. The young old horse didn't care either. Kyle, who saw the newspaper on the ground, seemed to know everything. The child was very shocked and didn't know what to do, so he went to the police station for help. But how could the police believe what he said? At night, he finally realized that there was something wrong with the cave. So he sneaked out of the hospital and came to the cave. He wanted to go back through this cave. But because the structure inside was too complicated, Kyle lost his way. He accidentally slipped and fell into the cave. He broke his leg. At the same time, he was looking for Kyle's father in the cave. He was holding a stick and knocking on a door in the cave. He thought that someone must have caught Kyle here and locked him in the nuclear power station, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't open the door. He collapsed and smashed the door. But the iron door didn't break at all. When he was about to give up, he heard Kyle's cry. He was looking for him in the cave with a flashlight, but he didn't find anything. They were in the same place, but the father and son had been separated for 33 years. Mom has said it many times. Don't just take what a stranger gives you. The letter that this boy saw inside made him regret it. It turned out that this letter was left by the father who committed suicide 2 months ago. The letter said that it must be opened at 10 p.m., 2 months later. Kyle couldn't wait to open the letter, because he wanted to know what secret the father had that he couldn't tell him until he died. It was written like this. Dear Kyle, when you read this letter, everything happened irreversibly. I wanted to tell you earlier, but I hope that after you understand the whole story, you can understand that my decision is correct. We all have little knowledge of the world. Even one thing can't fulfill our wishes. Here is the truth about me. November 4th, 2019. I time traveled back to 1986. This young man from the future stayed here. As time went by, he grew up. No one knows where he came from. He lost me in the woods. It's not your fault, because it's not your choice. When you read this, I'm no longer here. But as your friend or your father, I hope you can forgive me. I'll always love you, Michael. All these sudden truths pushed Kyle to the edge of the cliff.